Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to another episode. Glad you're here. Glad I'm here. So, before I get started, oh, by the way, it's welcome to another episode of Your Success at Last DNA. I'm your host, Tracy the Ace Brinkman. Not even the Ace, Tracy Ace Brinkman. Like I was saying, before I really get started and talk to you about performer versus pretender, performer versus poser, as I really like to say it, I wanted to chat with you just briefly about a couple of comments I got about yesterday. Yeah, I was going to start off today's episode by apologizing for yesterday's show. I got a little bit deeper into it than I really thought I was going to. But sometimes, like I said, I like to be real. I like to keep it. I just like to be myself, and sometimes just being who you are is going a little deeper than you thought, going where you're going to go naturally. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Sometimes I'm not for everybody, and if you keep listening, I definitely appreciate that, and glad I'm for you, or maybe you're just putting up with me. But I got a couple of good comments. Well, I think they're good comments. One from Timmy, one from Sandy. Both of them I've known quite some time. I've known Sandy, gosh, going on about what, 5, 7 years now? Timmy I've known well over, oh my gosh, 30 plus years. So anyway, like I said, I was going to apologize, but I went down a deep road. But I think it kind of helped drive the point home of the example I was kind of give. And I want to give you data. Here's tips. Getting the stories really sinks them home. And the messages I got from Timmy and Sandy both kind of explain that. Timmy was telling me about how it made her remember her father, and actually miss her father. She lost her father some time back, and it took her there. And I'm sorry it took her there, but I'm glad it took her there because it helped drive those points home, I'm sure. And Sandy actually said that this is exactly what she needed to hear, and I'm sure I'll hear more about that from here shortly. So it worked. So I want to apologize for something that worked. And for those of you that didn't enjoy it, I will say I'm sorry. But it's me. It's like I said, I'm keeping it real. That's why I'm here. I'm not for everybody. And if I'm not for you, hey, find someone that is for you, and everyone's the happier for it. So today we're going to talk about, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Your question. Got to have those questions, right? Of course I got to have those questions, Tracy. So today's question, everybody, you know what today's question is. And for you new folks who are just joining us, I pose a question to you every day, something to make you pause and go, What to make you think about what's going on in your world, what's going on in your life, where you want to go, what do you want to do, who you want to be when you grow up, kind of thing. And today's question is, what do you want or need to change? What is it in your life, your habits, your relationships, your financial, whatever it is, what is it that you want to or need to change? Think about that, really. There's always something you need to change, especially if you're cruising the web listening to shows like this. There's something in your life that you want or need to change. And that may not be bad things. You just may want to improve it. You may want to make it better. You may like the life you have and know that there's more. And that's your change. You may not like the life you have, or maybe a part of your life that you don't like, that you have, and you want to improve it. You want to change it. So what is it? Now that builds on that question for you new folks again, and for the folks who've been around for a while. Answer the question. Pause and think about it, because then when you hear tomorrow's question, it helps you take you to the next level. So all these questions work together. So don't skip one. Answer them all. So today, I want to talk to you about performer versus poser. Posers. Oh my goodness. Are you a performer or are you a poser? So, if you're listening to this show, you're someone that I really think is a performer. You may not be a performer. You may not even believe you're a performer, but I think you are a performer. At least in some area of your life, you're a performer. You may not be performing to your full potential, which is why you're here. And hopefully I can share the daily motivation to help you get there, give you little tips and some little bit of knowledge dump along the way. And again, this is just the stuff I've learned, I've tried, I've used. Don't take my word as gospel. Go out and try some things yourself. Read a book, try some new programs. Hint, hint, hint. I got some of those coming up here for you. And perform, right? Maybe you're a performer in the way that you reach your goals, and maybe you strive for your dreams, how you treat your family, what you do in your job, the desires you want. On your way towards your goals, you're going to need people. right? I mean, because one's a lonely number, and you can't reach greatness alone, right? You're going to need to have people to help you via knowledge, maybe some coaching, heck, maybe even with money. Okay, I call these people your Huantu crew, and I didn't create that word. It's the name of a mastermind group from Benjamin Franklin. I was reading his biography. It's a good read, by the way. And he had a Huantu crew, and the key to having an effective Huantu crew is to weed out the performers from the pretenders. You want to get rid of the posers, right? So let me share with you today some tips, some ways that you can tell the difference between a performer and a poser. All right. So again, here we go. As I mentioned, and I've mentioned this in previous shows, everything I try to share with you here, I try to share it with you from the context of maybe a certain part of your life, but they always apply to different parts of your life. They apply to your relationships, to your work, to your dreams, your goals, your health, your fitness, your mental capacity. I mean, and today's no different. I mean, because as I share with you these difference between performers and posers, don't worry if you gasp and go, "Oh my God, I'm a poser." I think somewhere in along our path to greatness, to being a performer, we start off as a poser. Okay, but then we get real with ourselves, right? I mean, that's why you're here, right? That you're here to learn how to be a better performer, how to perform up to your dreams, up to your expectations, and beyond. I mean, I'd like to hope that's one of the reasons why you stopped here. It's one of the reasons why you stopped here, right? I mean, you're still listening. Anyway, so, I mean, you're here, you get a little motivation, share your tips on how to do better. Well, if you realize that you're a poser in an area, well, then the first step is coming here, hearing that, turning the corner, and becoming a performer. Getting real, right? Whether it's in your relationship, with your work, with your health, with your family, or whatever it happens to be. All the ideas that I'm about to share with you to help you weed out the difference between posers and performers. I want you to, they're like plucking the feather out of a quilt. You ever gone to Grandma's house? I used to love hanging out with Grandma's house. We used to go there like every Sunday for Domino's, and when it would get chilly, pull that quilt over you, and it was when she hand stitched, and it was filled with goose down, and it was from geese that she actually plucked, right? Had out in her backyard, plucked, and filled it in there. So every once in a while, one of those feathers would poke out and it would scratch. It was just irritating. It's just annoying you. It would ruin a good night's sleep too. So these little posers, these little pretenders, you want to pluck those out of your life. You want to throw them away to make your quilt, to make your comfy, cozy quilt. Okay? All right. So let's start with success. Performers, right? Performers want to see others succeed. Yeah. Posers, yeah, they only focus on their own success. And there you have it. Now, here's the thing. As I've mentioned before, I've lived through some dark times. I've spent times doing things I am really not proud of. And I think over the course of this, podcast here, I'm going to share some of those things with you. And you may not like to hear them. Go, "Oh my God, you didn't." Yeah, I did. But some of that same context enables me to see performers, enables me to see pretenders. And you can see those posers as they focus on their own success. And some of those posers even put a veil over themselves and make you think they're performers to get what they want out of you, and then they move on to the next project or the next victim. Okay. Besides, on the face, this is sneaky and underhanded. It's really this poser way is an unfulfilling way to run your life, and it's not really the kind of person you want to be, right? No, it's not. I'll help you with the hard ones, as Zig used to say. It's not the way you want to run your life. It's like that whole wolf in sheep's clothing thing. See, here's a great example. When I worked for Coca-Cola, there was this 3 period in the 12 years I worked there. There was this 3-year period where I got 5 promotions. 5 promotions in 3 years. Oh my God! Today I just think about that and go, wow. How did I do it? Well, let me tell you. I'm glad you asked. See, I looked around the organization, and I worked in the marketing organization for North America, and I found places where I could improve on the processes. I could improve the way my fellow associates was able to do things. I found ways to make their jobs easier, how they could get them done faster, how they could more quickly through data and computer tactics narrow their focus right into the exceptions, rather than having to weed through mounds and mounds and mountains and mountains of data, enable them to get things done faster, stronger. I'm sounding like Superman commercial different. To really be more impactful in the business. And I didn't do this with the goal of getting a promotion. I did this with the goal of helping my fellow associates. I'm like, hey, I know how to make this better. And I went and I made it better. And that became the results of that were promotions. So I went out after being of service, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, but to help others succeed, and there was a result. I became successful. And like Zig Ziglar says, you can have anything you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. So, performers want to see others succeed. Posers, yeah, they're worried about their own success. Now, in mindset, here's another one. Performers have a service mindset, and I just mentioned that. Posers have a selfish mindset. Service or selfish. Here's no. Albert Einstein put it really well in a reading I did of his some time ago, and he said, there is on things we do know, there is one thing that we do know, that man is here for the sake of other men. Above all, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over this. Above all, for those upon which whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends. Really what he's saying here is we're here for others, and we're really here for those whose smile and their well-being depends on us. Huh? This clearly links back to the first rule I just mentioned, right? It's all about the service. And if you're out there for other people's success and you're providing that service, you're a performer. You clearly know and understand that the mindset of doing service and doing it well for the benefit of those around you is going to give you the results you're looking for. So the question then becomes, how do you know if you have a service mindset? Any idea? No, you don't? Okay. Well, it's really an easy... Okay, I'll tell you. Really, I'll tell you. You can tell if you have a mindset if when you're asked to provide a service, how you react. There you go. How do you react when you're asked to do something for someone else? Are you happy to be a service? Or are you perhaps a little selfish? Now here's an interesting thing. You could have one mindset at work and a completely different mindset when you get home. Perhaps you've been giving all day at work, and then you come home and you get a little selfish. Yeah, gotta watch that. You gotta balance that out. But overall, independently, you don't fool yourself into thinking you have a service mindset just because you do it all at work, and then you're still service when you're at home, right? You gotta break it down, right? You can't come home and not give your family the level of service that they deserve. Otherwise, you're a performer at work and you're a pretender at home, or a poser at home. Watch that. In your job, here's one. Performers, yeah, they tend to their own grass. Posers, yeah, they focus on the greener grass on the other side. And this one's really clear and simple. We've heard this 1,000 times. The grass is green on the other side. Yeah. Well, pretenders are full of excuses. They think that their success is always somewhere else. It's over there. It's down the road. It's across the ocean. It's in the other green yard. Some other job, some other relationship, or some new toy is going to make them happy. Yeah. I don't think so. I've had a number of jobs, I've had a number of relationships, and I've had a few toys. The happiness always comes from doing the service, the fulfillment, right? What fulfills you? Some even go so far as to truly believe that their success is impossible because of their past. And like I said, I've had a dark past, so I could go there too. Now, performers know what they want, all right? And they know that they have to continue to provide that service to those that matter in a selfless manner in order to reach their goals, their dreams, and their desires. And they're really focusing on helping other people reach their goals, right? Now, salesmen, they're helping their customer achieve something, helping their customer get a better product. If they focus on helping their customer be better, do better, and work better, they'll sell more. If they focus on just trying to make the sale, yeah, not so hot. A little bit of a challenge there, okay? Now, our last one is all about action. Again, pretty simple. When you hear it, performers do. Right? They do. They take action. Posers, they dream and they promise. Here's a good lesson. Performers perform. Right? Posers pose. Pretenders pretend. Yeah, I know it sounds simple, but that's it. A lot of the greatest truths of life are simple. Pretenders dream and they hope and they promise, but they hardly ever take any action. And if they do take action, yeah, they might not get the result they want, and that's where they stop. Whereas performers do. Period. That's it. They get up and they do. And they get up and they do again. Even if they don't get the result they want, they realize that they have to do, review, re-aim, and restart. Let's think about that again. They review the results. They re-aim their focus accordingly. They get the results they want. They keep their focus where it's going. If they don't get the results they expected, they re-aim their focus based on those results. Then they restart by taking the next action. Then they review, re-aim, and restart. Review, re-aim, and restart. Huh? That's doing. That's not posing. That's not pretending. And here's the lesson for you. Even if you don't know, even if they don't know that they're going to be bad at it first, even if they don't know if they're going to be good, they really kind of believe, I'm not going to be so hot at this. They give it a shot. They don't wait for themselves to be perfect. They try their best, even if their best is 45%. They shoot to do their best, knowing full well they're going to get better. Because you can't get better by promising. You can't get better by posing. You can't get better by pretending. You get better by, that's right, by doing. So performers, you're all performers, I know you are. Help others succeed. You help others succeed with your mindset of service. And you help others succeed with your mindset of service while you tend to your own grass. And you do that, like I always sign off, by thinking successfully and taking action. Talk to you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.